This is me, trapped inside of a zombie-infested mall, and for the next 3 days, I'll be trying to survive and kill every single zombie in here. And on top of that, on the third night, an entire horde of zombies will be alerted and come directly to my location. Now, I have already tried to survive 3 days in the mall and failed every single time. So I asked you guys for some advice on what I should do. And after filtering through the dozens of recommendations, I came up with a plan. Now, I have tried to kill the zombies myself with weapons or guns multiple times. And each time I failed because there were just too many zombies in such a condensed space. So the plan was to utilize something that humans have used since the dawn of civilization. Fire. Now, the only problem with using fire is that if it spreads too much, I would be burned alive because I wasn't able to leave the mall. And the method I'd use to light the zombies on fire is to use a Molotov cocktail. But Molotovs don't light themselves. I'd also need a lighter. And that's where we encounter our first problem. I had absolutely no clue where lighters spawned in this mall. So I spent hours and hours and so many runs looking for this one item. And after searching literally every desk, storage container, and basically anywhere to find these things, I was close to giving up. Do they even exist here? Was I just looking for nothing? On run 25, I went back to the liquor store to check for a lighter, just in case I missed one on the first few times I was there. It wouldn't really make sense to keep one here, right? I mean, all this stuff is flammable. It'd be like keeping a lighter right next to a gas pump. And when I checked beyond the counter, I had found one. So I ran to a safe area, crafted a Molotov, and it was time to see if the strategy would work. I got a good group of zombies together, put the Molotov in my primary slot, and the lighter in my secondary. And it wasn't working. Well, it turned out that the lighter was empty. And with no way to refill the lighter or use the matches that I had to restart and look for one more lighter. But this time around, the zombies wouldn't let me loot them that easily.
Oh, fuck. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, no!
After escaping that with only a laceration and a scratch, I bandaged myself up and calmly walked back to the place where I almost died and grabbed the most important ingredient in making a Molotov cocktail, the cocktail part. So I got to a relatively safe spot and crafted up a Molotov. I then equipped the Molotov in the lighter and I was ready for round 2. And by just throwing it like that, I made a huge mistake. Now, I had just thrown a Molotov towards the entrance where I have to go through. So I just had to run through the flames to get out of here. Oh, no. Now, I still had a few more Molotovs, so I gathered the zombies in a group and I threw another. And after I did that, I started to feel the lag, especially when I tried to look towards the zombies I just lit on fire. Now, I only wanted to light this side of the mall on fire, keeping the flames away from the hardware and gun store so I could loot them later in the run. So I attracted the horde I just gathered back to that area to keep it in a sort of controlled burn. But attracting a horde means it wouldn't be that easy to get around them. And on top of that, they were on fire.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck. After escaping that without getting burned somehow, I went to loot the storage room to get a few quick weapons. And there was a zombie with a duffel bag outside. But the flaming zombies wouldn't allow me to loot it.
Nope.
Getting out of there, I decided to circle around the mall and check the damage that I had done. And it was spreading to the first floor, coming pretty close to the gun store. So I gathered as many zombies as I could from this side of the mall and tried to bring them down here. But the fire wasn't killing the zombies too quickly, meaning I was running into a horde with another horde right behind me. But it'd be all right because I can just run through the store, right? Fuck. Come on. After that encounter, I had to calm down because I've been running for a while, and even though I had the athlete skill, I might run out of stamina. But I did also need water. So I went back to check out the damage I had caused, and it had spread to a larger area than I thought. This whole side of the mall was charred up, and it was spreading towards the gun store. But I wasn't a firefighter, and there was really nothing I could do other than loot the gun store before it spreads there. But there were still too many zombies around that area to loot it, so I just had to wait and hope that it didn't get burned down. So I looted some food from a meat store while attracting a flaming zombie in there, and it burned the place to the ground. Now, I was trying to be in here for 3 days and kill all the few thousand zombies in here, so I needed a good amount of food, weapons, and medical supplies because I was already injured, and I was sure I'd get hurt again on this run. And to gather all this stuff, I'd need a backpack of some sort to carry everything. And luckily enough, in this grocery store, I found a school bag. So I started looting random stores.
Oh, fuck.
This meant that the fire had spread all the way across the mall and was now right under the hardware store, the exact place where I did not want it to be. I thought I should loot it, but my character was already pretty tired. So I snuck back to a sort of safe place towards the helipad and went to sleep. This was my first time sleeping in the mall, and as I woke up on day 2, something didn't feel right. That's when I remembered that there was a horde coming for me in 42 hours. So I needed to prepare for that. So I came up with the plan. Before this horde arrived, I need to get weapons, shelter, and a good amount of food and medical supplies stocked up. So I left my safe space and went straight to the gun shop because that was more important than the hardware store at that point. And when I got there, it was literally on fire and the majority of the weapons had been burned to a crisp. But out of the darkness, I remember there was a back room to this place, and back there was a Groza and a shotgun. Now you guys in the comments said to find a shotgun because you can shoot multiple targets at once with them. So now that I had one, I just needed ammo. And I found a canister of ammo. So I tried using it because I wanted to clear out the mall, and if I kill all these zombies before the horde night comes, it would be a lot easier. But the shotgun just wasn't working the way I wanted it to. So I swapped to the Groza, and I had the same issue. Were guns just not the answer? Was my aiming skill just too bad to be effective with them? My character was already getting drowsy at this point because I don't think I got enough sleep last night. So I slept, making it day 3. Now, when I woke up, there was this little zombie symbol in the top right. Did I catch a zombie virus? Did I get infected somehow? Was this the end of this run? Searching it up, this was just the indicator that tonight was a horde night. And a tiny bit relieved, I made my way up to the hardware store to grab a melee weapon instead of the guns because they just didn't seem to work for me. Walking there, the mall felt a bit strange. And I'm not talking about the charred areas. The zombies were just gone. I know there were still a few around, but I was here for a challenge and it didn't even feel like one right now. But I'd be regretting feeling that only a bit later in the day. Regardless, I made my way to the hardware store and found a ton of loot. Notably, a trolley that I could use to carry my stuff to a quote-unquote safe spot, an axe, a crowbar, and a few machetes. After grabbing all my stuff, I thought I'd try out the machete. And it was good. A little bit too good because I had a decent chance to one-shot any zombie that I attacked with it, but it still had durability, so it would break eventually if I wasn't careful. Now for this horde night, I tried to arrange some equipment in this appliance store in a way where the zombies would be funneled into my location so I could attack them easily. But I had no clue how many zombies a horde night entails, and if there's too many, I'd have no option to leave if I sealed myself in. So I kind of ditched that idea as fast as I thought of it, and went back out to gather food because I was already drowsy and would have to sleep and take a nap at least once before the night began. I then headed up to a place that felt like a convenience store and grabbed as much food as I could, and then found this. Okay, listen, I had to. But now that I had enough food and medical supplies to survive as long as possible, I sorted everything and mentally prepared to possibly wake up in the middle of a horde. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. And I had woken up with only 20 minutes until the horde came to my location, which in real world time is about 20 seconds. So I dashed downstairs with my trolley full of items that I gathered, and it began. Now, as I said before, I had no clue what this night would entail because I'd never experienced a horde night. And while looking around, I noticed that I was getting sicker by the moment. And with this being the absolute worst time for me to rest, I just had to deal with the debuffs and try my best to survive while being sick. So I started killing as many zombies as I could because, well, they were trying to kill me. And I was trying to survive in this mall and not die in it. And it felt like I was doing the same thing over and over again. Kill them, run around a bit, kill some more, run around a bit, but there was one thing missing. Where was the horde? I mean, they said it was coming, but it seemed like this wasn't any worse than the mall normally is. So I kind of felt like I knew what I was doing. I mean, I had been surviving in this mall for more than 20 runs and dozens of real life hours at this point, so I've been used to playing with this many zombies. This was the farthest I've ever gotten, but 3 days kind of felt like a piece of cake. And that's when I looked at the clock. Now, each run starts at 8 a.m. So since this was technically the 3rd day, I only had to survive 6 more hours until I had completed the initial challenge. But I still had to kill all the zombies in here as well. So I got to it. I killed zombie after zombie, killing tiny hordes, stragglers, basically any that I could find, and it started to feel like I wasn't the one trying to survive in this mall anymore. They were. I was hunting these zombies down as best as I could, and soon enough, the clock passed 8 a.m. I had completed my initial challenge and needed to speed up killing all these zombies because if you noticed, my health had been wiggling for a while now. I don't even know why I was losing health, so when I checked it, I had severe damage and was actively losing health while keeping the menu open. Kind of panicking, I checked my bandage, and it wasn't that. It was because I was sick with something, and I didn't have any medicine for this, so I thought the best thing I could do was rest. But that only made it worse. The sickness had now turned into a fever, and my life was basically a clock, ticking down constantly, and there was nothing I could do about it. At least nothing I knew I could do about it. So with my health deteriorating, I dropped everything I didn't need and went back to using the shotgun, hoping I could use the sounds of it to attract the rest of the zombies in here and kill the rest of them like I wanted to from the start. So I started shooting, and it was working so much better than it was before. Was I doing something wrong? Was I overweight before? It didn't matter because I was a killing machine. I killed zombie after zombie, and the comments were right. Shotguns are so much easier because they were killing multiple zombies at once, and the sounds were dragging zombies from all over the place to my location, just like I wanted. The only thing I had to worry about was ammo, and luckily enough, I had a ton. So when I ran out, I just had to go back to where my backpack was and grab some more, and go back to killing, and I felt unstoppable. But also kind of nervous because my health was constantly ticking down, meaning every single second counted, and they were all gathering in this one area, which again was perfect because my goal was to kill all of them. By this point, my health was so low that I couldn't rely on the zombies to come to me, so I had to go to them, trying to clear this mall out before I joined them. So I went down towards the back of the mall, clearing out all the zombies that I saw, but the doors of the mall weren't boarded up, so any zombie from outside could come in if they wanted to. And I was trying to be careful not to lure any more in, but also feeling relatively stressed out that my health was at critical damage levels. So I beelined it to the front of the mall, staying in one spot to lure any stragglers to my location. And soon enough, there were only a few left. And I had done it. I had survived 3 days in the mall, lived through a horde night, and cleared out the mall entirely. But I wasn't finished yet. I ran to one of the exits knowing I'd die soon because I didn't want to become a zombie myself and technically not clear the mall out because I'd remain in there. I ran outside, finally free of this building that I'd been in for more than a dozen hours. And it was time to move on. But I didn't want to go out without a bang. But this wasn't the end. This was just the beginning of something much, much larger.